comes courtesy of our friends over at The View. When I say our friends over at The View, I mean the low IQ idiots who are on panel at The View. And yes, you are a complete stupid idiot. My God, she is so stupid. This is the same lady who thinks everything is racist. Everything and everyone is racist, except Hitler and the Holocaust. Genius, Whoopi Goldberg.
Ben Shapiro frequently deconstructs the intellectual traps of shows like The View with his incisive wit and dogged criticisms. He sees the program as a venue for individuals who hold inflated confidence in their ideas on popular topics, despite these perspectives often depending on poorly researched, mainstream media-driven narratives. Just a little request before we get into it. Hit that like button and subscribe to our channel if you're having fun with this stuff. We are very grateful for your support. Let us return to the current subject. The fact that Ben Shapiro wants to go on The View is obvious. His intention to confront the show's hosts head-on in what he terms the lion's den has been clear from the start. They'll never invite me, he quips frequently, because it would be a disaster for them. His possible appearance, nevertheless.
Lifelong ambition to actually be a guest on The View. They'll never have me on, of course, because it would go horribly.
It's not about ideal race. But these are two white groups of people.
Not only is that the worst clip in the history of The View, that is the worst clip in the history of television. Like, all of television.
In such a meeting, the following speaker. In a shocking display of ignorance, Whoopi Goldberg once stated that the Holocaust wasn't about race. Ben Shapiro wasted no time reacting, expressing his incredulity at the folly of such a notion. He was eager to attack the poor rationale underlying her comment, stressing its utter stupidity and the insensitivity it portrayed.
Goldberg is obnoxious and stupid beyond all measure. The Holocaust was not about race. Ask the Nazis. The entire Holocaust was about race. All of it, which is why they didn't just pick on Jews who observed Judaism. They picked on anyone who had quote-unquote Jewish blood. The entire thing was about race.
Shapiro pointed out the evident inconsistency in Goldberg's reasoning, highlighting that someone who routinely analyzes matters through the perspective of race cannot dismiss the Holocaust, a massacre unquestionably fueled by racial ideology, as an exception to that paradigm.
Humanity to man. Nope! It is about a genocidal attempt to exterminate the Jews, which has a thousands-of-year-old history. And yes, it was rooted
comparing the U.S., Israel, Hamas, and the Taliban as all terrorist organizations. And she has maybe way more knowledge and experience in the very complicated Middle Eastern relations. But I did find that being on a foreign committee and comparing the country to a known terror, those are organized terrorist communities, that, not Israel, but Hamas, and that
depends on who you talk to.
Right. Well, I mean, that's how they're recognized as terrorist organizations.
But it does depend on who you talk to.
Well, they're recognized in this country.
Depends on who you talk to. Whoopi, always available to sign in to both compare Israel and the United States to terrorist organizations and also compare terrorist organizations to apparently not terrorist organizations. Like, Hamas is not a terrorist organization?
Let's see what Ben has to say on this.
Oh, man. It is amazing because Whoopi is sort of seen on this show as sort of the wise old sage. And I have to say, you need better sages.
Interesting that a lot of the English language has to be rethought. Blackmailing is negative, black sheep, negative. I can think of a few others if I had the time, but those words are kind of like embedded in our psyches and maybe need to be changed. Why is a black sheep a bad thing and a white sheep is a good thing? Why? They're just sheep.
Well, it's not the words. It's not the words, it's the way we think about it.
You're right, Joy. Probably they started saying black sheep versus white sheep, not because of the commonality of the sheep, but because of black people in like rural Europe. Nailed it. Yeah, it's about what? African-American sheep. This is so stupid. It's about black male, like black people male in the...
But The View...
Kids in this country are learning our history. They're not learning about slavery. They're not learning about Jim Crow. They don't understand the history of black Americans in this country. If they did, they would then understand white privilege better. So my suggestion is start teaching this stuff. It's deplorable, again, that word, that they do not learn history, period. I mean, people who are young, under 50, don't know who FD